I don't ever want anything that I ever do or say to get on the kids.
Right.
And so in that way, they've changed my life a lot.
Gwen Stefani shutting down rumors she and Blake Shelton are getting divorced.
I was like, what? That's crazy.
Country music has always carried with it stories of love, heartbreak, and resilience, and few lives embody that cycle more vividly than Blake Shelton's. His journey through love has never been a straight line. It has been a winding road filled with unexpected turns, deep losses, and powerful new beginnings. Long before the bright lights of fame cemented his name as a household figure, Shelton's personal story was already one of devotion and heartache. In November of 2003, he married his longtime partner, Kaynette Gern, a relationship grounded in loyalty and companionship before the world had its eyes on him. But as quickly as life can change, so too did their marriage. Only 3 years later, in 2006, their union ended quietly, leaving Shelton to carry forward alone just as his career was beginning to soar. Fate soon brought him to another chapter that would shape his music and his heart in profound ways. In 2005, during CMT's 100 Greatest Duets concert, he crossed paths with Miranda Lambert. What began as a musical collaboration, singing Michael Bublé's Home, which soon climbed to #1 on the Hot Country Songs chart, blossomed into something much deeper. Their voices seemed destined to intertwine, both in harmony and in love. For 4 years, they built a partnership that flourished both on stage and in private life. In May of 2010, Shelton proposed, and 1 year later, they were married in Boerne, Texas, surrounded by family, friends, and the excitement of fans who saw them as country music's golden couple. Their union carried with it the promise of music, laughter, and shared dreams for the future. But as life often does, joy was soon shadowed by sorrow. In January 2012, Shelton lost his father, Dick, after a long illness, a devastating loss that reopened wounds from an earlier tragedy, his brother Richie's death in a car accident in 1990, when Blake was just 14. Grief was not unfamiliar to him, but this new wave of loss weighed heavily. Yet even in heartache, Shelton found a way to channel the pain into music. Together with Lambert, he helped pen the song Over You, performed by Miranda, which became a hauntingly beautiful tribute to his brother. The song struck a chord with audiences everywhere, earning the Country Music Association's Song of the Year award in 2012, and later winning at the Academy of Country Music Awards. Through music, they transformed heartbreak into something eternal, creating a work that touched countless hearts while honoring Richie's memory. Still, not all pain can be healed by song. Over time, strains appeared within Shelton and Lambert's marriage. By July of 2015, after 4 years of marriage, they announced their divorce, a decision finalized that very same day. It was a moment of heartbreak, one that left fans stunned and Shelton himself adrift. Yet even as one chapter closed, another was already waiting to begin. A story that would intertwine his life with someone who, like him, knew the weight of heartbreak and the possibility of healing. That summer, Shelton found himself seated alongside Gwen Stefani as a coach on The Voice. She, too, was navigating the turbulence of a public divorce. Their shared pain became a bridge, drawing them closer together. What began as friendship evolved into something more tender, a connection born from empathy and trust. Shelton would later admit that Stefani came into his life at exactly the right moment, saving him when he felt lost. Their relationship quickly took on a rhythm of its own, blending both music and love into a story that resonated far beyond their own lives. They co-wrote Go Ahead and Break My Heart in 2015, a track that captured the fragile yet hopeful beginning of their romance, released on Shelton's 2016 album, If I'm Honest. It marked the first of many collaborations that mirrored their deepening bond. The years that followed saw more duets, from the holiday cheer of You Make It Feel Like Christmas in 2017, to the heartfelt anthems Nobody But You and Happy Anywhere in 2020, both soaring to the top of the country charts. With each song, their connection became more evident, proving that love could be both tender and triumphant. For Shelton, love with Stefani was unlike anything he had known before. In interviews, he confessed that only through her did he truly come to understand the depth of love. By October 2020, 5 years into their relationship, he proposed in a deeply personal moment at the chapel on his Oklahoma ranch, surrounded by her 3 sons and their families. On July 3rd, 2021, they were married in that very same chapel in an intimate ceremony that celebrated not only their love, but also the blending of their families. For Shelton, stepping into the role of stepfather brought a new kind of joy, one rooted not in stages or fame, but in the simple, everyday love shared within a family. Even as his personal life flourished, Shelton's career remained just as strong. Forbes had once estimated his annual income in the tens of millions, a reflection of his success as both a country music star and a beloved television personality. His world was filled with milestones and even a few surprises, like the discovery in 2017 that he was distantly related to television host Robin Meade, revealed on the HLN special Our Journeys Home. In 2019, he officiated the wedding of his close friend, country star Trace Adkins, to actress Victoria Pratt, further showing how deeply he was woven into the fabric of the country music family. But no story is without its shadows, and even in this season of love and achievement, cracks began to appear. Beneath the music and the laughter, quiet struggles began to surface, setting the stage for moments that would test both his personal strength and his relationship with Stefani. Blake Shelton had long been a symbol of steadiness in country music. His voice, his humor, and his down-to-earth charm made him someone fans could lean on. But even those who bring comfort to millions face storms of their own. For Shelton, one of the most difficult arrived not in private, but beneath the glare of spotlights. What should have been a night of celebration at the American Music Awards became the beginning of an unraveling, one that exposed the tension between his personal life and public image. Fans had expected to see Shelton and Gwen Stefani side by side, perhaps walking the red carpet together, or even sharing a duet to showcase the strength of their bond. Instead, the evening was marked by an absence. Stefani appeared alone, radiant in a shimmering metallic gown, her confidence undeniable, yet her missing partner quickly overshadowed the glamour. Whispers began before the first awards were handed out, questions rippling through the crowd and soon spreading beyond the venue. Why wasn't Blake there? As speculation grew, reports surfaced of a disagreement behind the scenes. Rumors suggested that a planned duet between the two had fallen apart after Gwen allegedly made changes without telling Shelton. What had once been meant as a performance of unity now felt fractured, a private rift made public. And when Stefani took the stage to debut a new song, No Apology Required, the lyrics of betrayal, distance, and standing alone only fueled the fire. To those watching, the performance seemed less like entertainment and more like a message, an artistic declaration delivered with bold precision. For Shelton, the night was a breaking point. The absence, the rumors, the performance, it all became a mirror of the fragile balance he had been trying to maintain between career and love. The man who had once seemed unshakable walked away from the evening not with joy, but with heaviness. What fans saw was the beginning of an unraveling, and for many who had already shed tears over his earlier struggles, this moment felt like a devastating echo. The days that followed only deepened the uncertainty. Social media swirled with theories. Fans debated whether Gwen's performance was directed at him, and the silence from Shelton only seemed to make the questions louder. When he finally broke that silence, it wasn't with a long explanation, but with a short online note, measured, restrained, and filled with the kind of quiet that speaks volumes. His words did not settle the rumors, but they carried weight, revealing the hurt beneath his calm exterior. Fans flooded him with messages of love and support, sensing the depth of his struggle, while Gwen's continued silence left even more questions hanging in the air. Then came another blow. His record label announced that his upcoming album, Backroads and Heartaches, would be delayed. It was not just another record for Shelton. It was to be his most personal work yet, a collection of songs born from love, loss, and reflection. For him, music had always been a refuge, a way of pouring out the emotions too heavy to carry alone. To have that voice postponed, overshadowed by controversy, was crushing. The label wanted the storm to pass before unveiling the songs, but for Shelton, it felt like losing the one place where he could still speak freely. those close to him grew increasingly worried. While to the public he still wore his easy smile, behind the scenes the weight was unmistakable. This wasn't just about an awards show or an album delay. It was about the fear that his story, his identity as both an artist and a man, was slipping out of his control. He had weathered heartbreak before, most painfully in the very public end of his marriage to Miranda Lambert. But this season felt different. Many had believed his love with Gwen was the anchor that had steadied him through past storms. To now see cracks forming in that anchor was perhaps the most painful chapter yet. Meanwhile, Gwen's silence took on a life of its own. Some believed she was choosing restraint, letting the public noise fade rather than feeding it. Others saw her silence and her bold AMA performance as signs of transformation, a reminder that she was more than half of a celebrated couple, that she could stand alone as the pop rock icon she had always been. Cultural voices noted her ability to reinvent herself, to step into new eras with confidence. Perhaps this was one of those moments, a pivot into independence, both as an artist and as a woman. For Shelton, though, the question remained, how do you recover when the world is watching, when your songs, your love, and even your silences are dissected by millions? The struggle was no longer just professional or romantic. It had become deeply personal, forcing him to face not only the cracks in his public image, but also the quiet fears of his own heart. In the wake of so much upheaval, Blake Shelton chose distance from the spotlight and found refuge in the one place that had always grounded him, his Oklahoma ranch. Far removed from flashing cameras and swirling headlines, he turned to the quiet routines of country life. Days were spent surrounded by open fields, family, and the kind of stillness that fame can never provide. Friends say he poured himself into songwriting and the simple work of living close to the land, searching for peace in the rhythms of nature. Those who know him best admit that this season has tested him more deeply than any in recent memory. Shelton has always carried hardship with a mix of humor and charm, often masking pain with a laugh. But this time the weight was heavier. Even so, there was something familiar in it. Throughout his career, his most powerful music has often emerged from sadness and heartbreak. It is in the rawest moments that his songs have connected most deeply, becoming a lifeline not only for his fans, but also for himself. Many believe that this season of struggle may once again give rise to music that touches hearts in ways only he can. His delayed album, Backroads and Heartaches, remains a work in waiting, but it symbolizes more than a release date. It represents a voice still ready to speak. The label may have chosen to postpone it, but for Shelton, the songs are alive, carrying pieces of his story that the world has yet to hear. For fans, the anticipation is not just about new music, but about hearing him transform pain into melody, to turn private grief into something that can comfort millions. As Shelton takes this time to heal, Gwen Stefani's silence continues to leave questions unanswered. Some see it as her way of protecting her image, stepping forward into a new era defined on her own terms. Others hold on to hope that the bond they once celebrated so openly might yet endure. But whatever the outcome, Shelton's journey is no longer defined only by his relationships. It is about the resilience that has marked his life from the beginning. His story has always been one of rising after loss. The death of his brother Richie, the passing of his father, the end of his marriage to Miranda Lambert, all of these moments could have silenced him. Instead, they shaped him, turning grief into music and heartbreak into connection. Fans have long admired him not just for his talent, but for his ability to live honestly, showing that even in pain, there is strength. Today, as he walks through one of his hardest emotional battles, that same truth remains. Though the weight may be heavy, Shelton has never been one to surrender to despair. His audience knows this, and now they stand by him, offering the same support he has given them through years of music that spoke to their own heartbreaks. Messages of encouragement pour in, a reminder that even in silence, he is not alone. For Shelton, healing is not a single moment, but a journey. It is found in the laughter of family, the wide skies above his ranch, and the promise that music still holds. The road ahead may not be easy, but his story has always been one of turning sorrow into strength. And as fans wait for the day his new songs finally reach them, they trust that once again, Blake Shelton will transform pain into art, and in doing so, remind the world why his voice has always mattered.